In 1887, the building behind me was known as the Labrie Express Office. It served as a railroad ticket office for passengers planning to board a train out of Crescent City, Florida. Notice I used the term ticket office and not train depot. Why? Because if you study the surrounding area, you will find no evidence of old train tracks running alongside this historic building or even the remnants of a grassed over railroad berm. Where then did paying passengers go to board the train? To find out, follow me right around the corner where Cherie Register, president of the local historical society, will help sort this out. Thank you for meeting with me today. We have a railway ticket office from 1887, but no railroad tracks or any evidence of a train having ever come through here. Can you explain?
Citizens of this community, when they were met by the railroad guys, they did not want it because of the noise. They had had enough problems listening to the steamboat bells. They did not want to listen to the trains coming through.
Gotcha.
They were scared of the horses and the way the horses would act, causing accidents to the residents of the city. And then all the soot and the cinder, the filth that comes from a railroad.
Where was the train depot?
The actual train depot is about 2 miles that way.
How did they get there?
Captain Labrie decided right after the train got established in 1886 that he wanted to build a canal that would go from Lake Stella into Bird Lake over into the railroad station. So all the passengers went by small steam launches, gondolas, and that's how they would travel over there through the canal.
Do you think there are any remnants of that canal left that we could go and see?
I don't know. I don't believe so. If we had a boat, we could go check it out and see if there's anything.
Well, lo and behold, I just happen to have a boat tied up to the dock. Are you ready?
Well, that's great. Let's go.
So right here on the southwest corner of the lake?
Yes, sir.
Our course was likely used by Captain Labrie to ferry freight and passengers across the lake. The style of steam launches he operated could also be found on protected waters throughout Florida. Being of narrow beam and shallow draft, they were nimble in that they could navigate water of little depth and between tight cuts that would have impeded larger vessels. We're coming up on the, I guess what would be the southwest corner of the lake. I can't really see a whole lot right here. That bright sunshine and all those cattails in there. So since it's really hard to tell what's what over here against this shoreline that has so much vegetation, I'm thinking we should put a drone up.
That would be a great idea.
All right. Come on, land! Land! All right, Cherie. We put the drone up. I got the drone back in one piece. Thankfully, we had a couple of minor mishaps that didn't show up on film. But anyway,
you did a good job.
Thank you.
Really
we got it here. But when I was looking through the viewfinder, I saw a couple of things that looked like a gash, maybe. Perhaps could have been a canal, but I can't be sure until I get back home and look at it. Do you know of anybody else in the community that could maybe show us where a portion of this old canal exists? Because I would really like to see it.
The only other one I can think of from another family who's been here for generations would be Mary Ann Braddock.
I'm ecstatic. I'm about to meet Mary Ann Braddock, and we are on an old dirt 2-track called the Old Mail Route. Probably been here since forever. And Mary Ann is going to show me the canal, I hope. Well, Mary Ann, thank you so much for coming down here today. This has been a quest. Have we found the canal?
As best I know.
What makes you think that this is the canal that Captain Labrie used with his gondola / steam launch vessels?
As a child, my generation all heard the stories about
So you
the
grew up with
launches.
this.
And this used to be a common place to come when you were showing new people the area and telling them about the history.
In the old photographs we have, it's planked off. The banks are formed up with, I'm going to take a guess, it's heart pine planks. Do you remember ever seeing those?
You used to be able to see on the other side of the street, a little ways down, there's a point where it begins to meander there, and you could see the beginning of that shoring that they did to the edge
really?
of the canal.
To provide some context for our final stop, Mary Ann and I will be within the red circle. Bird Lake is east, across the road. Left of the bent line, the scar from the historic canal is still visible. X is where Mary Ann showed me the canal. So we've got a really gnarly looking patch of wetlands over here. But
Indeed.
let's take that calendar back about 130 years. What was it back then?
The lake itself was clearly visible, open. Yes.
But in that old black and white photograph where the dock was and they have the men out there waiting, I guess, for a steam launch, where would that dock have been?
Somewhere in this general vicinity, according to the stories, because the train station itself sat across the street.
Okay.
It was somewhere in this general vicinity.
Okay, because since then, there's been a lot of construction. There's a warehouse over here now, and I can see the old railroad berm behind me.
As best we know.
Before we wrap it up, I wanted to suggest that for those of you who might want to recreate this historic trip on Lake Stella, you can come down and put your own boat in at the public launch at the end of Central Avenue in Crescent City, or you can go to the north end of Lake Stella to Haley's Landing, where they have pedal boats and paddle boards for rent. And with that, thank you for watching. We're going to close it out with a tip of the hat to Trains of the Past.